It's 7:27 p.m., March 6th, Saturday, 2021, and it's my first time ever being in Austin, Texas. A decade and a half after my brother told me I should check out this place. I'm here, better late than never. I'm having some noodles right now. It's Saturday night, and it's pretty freaking crazy over in Austin. The downtown area is packed. It's as it is in like Los Angeles or any other big city, just tons going on. Although probably more here because I think people are less scared of COVID here. So there's more people out. I went by a park and there was just people out in droves playing soccer. Some people had masks, some people didn't. They're going to be doing away with the masks in a few days. I'm sure some people will still use them. But anyway, I left Los Angeles Sunday night. Sunday really late, so teetering on Monday. Probably actually around 1 a.m. Monday. Sorry. I left Los Angeles and I have not taken a shower since. I have not stayed in any hotels. I have not stayed in any hostels. I have not paid for a shower. So this is budget traveling at its finest. I have not been spending lots of money on food. I just ate 2 cups of noodles that were like $1 each. I've actually been trying to eat less because I'm trying to lose my pandemic pounds. But anyway, how I did it was I wanted to go to San Diego first because I had never taken the 8, is it the 8 or the 80 east to Yuma. I've never done that trip. I've always gone straight from LA, Tucson, Phoenix, all that. In fact, I've never driven to Texas before. I've only been to Dallas and that was flying. Achoo! Achoo! What was I going to say? I think the owner is going to take a leak of this gas station. Anyway, it's weird. They don't have a bathroom inside? Give me a break. Well, I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's having a smoke break. Anyway, so what I did was I went out at night. I drove. I drove to Oceanside the first night. When it was like, I don't know, 3, 4 in the morning or something, I was in Oceanside and I found this nice rest stop and I slept there. I slept in Oceanside in a rest stop. And it was a nice rest stop. And that's one thing that's great about California and Arizona and New Mexico is they have, a lot of places have good rest stops. They have bathrooms, stuff like that. So, I'm sorry, that noodle soup was pretty hot. So anyway, I stopped in Oceanside, and then I went to Carlsbad, because I'd never really hung out in Carlsbad much, and I've always heard the name Carlsbad. I've been to Encinitas and all those other places, but what I realized is once you're in Carlsbad, you can just drive down the El Camino Real, which I think is the one. You can just drive down it and you pass by all these really cool little places. I went down, I went Carlsbad, Leucadia, Encinitas, Solana Beach. So I stopped in Solana Beach, went a little walk. This lady gave me a gallon of Kangen water, which is like the best water you can drink. And if I was rich, I'd get a Kangen water maker. Anyway, so then I went to Del Mar and I had a Starbucks. I have a Starbucks card that someone gave me for my birthday, my uncle. I had had some Starbucks, and then I got in my car, and I always wanted to see what Julian was like. So first I went to Poway, and then I went on, God, I don't remember all the names of the highways, but I went to this town called Ramona, and then there was, right before Julian, there was this really nice park, and I can't think of what it was called. I think it was like Inaya Park or something. Just a few miles from Julian. I did a hike there. I hiked around, and then I went into Julian, and then I walked around for maybe 20 minutes. A lot of times I just want to see what a place is like. I'm not going to like spend the night in Julian, and you know. So I left Julian, and let's see, what did I do? Oh, okay, so I started driving down this road towards Arizona. It was this kind of crazy road where there was like nobody on it for a long time. And then it hooked up with this other road, and then I stopped in El Centro. And there was a rest stop in El Centro, and I slept in El Centro. And then the next day, I was in Yuma, Arizona, which I've never been to. And I walked around Yuma, Arizona, and got gas. And then I left Yuma, Arizona. What did I... Oh, yeah. So I went... I kept doing the... Is it the 8? I don't know if it's the 8 or the 80. I think it's the 8. I'm sorry, I should have done more research before doing this video. So I took that road, and it kind of doesn't go through Phoenix. It kind of like brushes past it and then goes to Tucson. I stopped in Marana, got some gas. Marana's right before Tucson. And then I've been to Tucson a few times recently, so I just wanted to keep on blasting through it. Made my way to New Mexico. You know, God, where did I spend the night in New Mexico? I can't even think. I spent the night somewhere in New Mexico. I'll have to like look back on my pictures and stuff like that. And I stopped in Las Cruces. I stopped at a rest area there and hung out for a little while. And then I went around Las Cruces, and I didn't like it as much as I thought I would, because I've heard good things about it. Maybe I didn't see the great places or whatever. And then I went through El Paso, Texas, and I was excited to be in Texas. The first rest area I had, they had a little care package where they give you a map, and I wanted to get a map. I was actually thinking about stopping at a AAA and getting a map, but now I have a map. Don't have to worry about that. So went through El Paso, Texas. I was excited to be in Texas. I hadn't been in Texas since 2014. I've only been to Texas once, and that was Dallas. So, El Paso, wasn't that crazy about El Paso? I don't know. Maybe I probably didn't see all the best parts or whatever either. I drove around a little bit, and then I was like, I'm going to keep going east. Kept going east, and God, where did I stop? I don't know. I stopped at some other rest stops. Yesterday, I was in Van Horn, Texas, and I was just gonna bypass Marfa. Someone told me Marfa was really cool, but it was another direction. I think it was south. Yeah, it was south. So I didn't go to Marfa at first, but then, so it was like 70 miles or so from Van Horn, and I was like, no, I'm just going to keep going east. That's where I spent the night, was a rest stop by Van Horn. And actually, there's some cheap motels in Van Horn. I was thinking about doing that, but I just kept going. I decided to make it see if I can go a week without a motel. Budget traveler. So what happened was I stopped east about an hour, and then I saw that I was actually closer to Marfa than I had been when I was in Van Horn. So somehow I'd kind of done a U towards Marfa, and I was like, okay, well, now I'm 50 miles from Marfa. Now I got to go to Marfa. Okay. So I drove out to Marfa, and I walked around Marfa, and what I loved about Marfa the most was the radio station. There's some radio station out there where the guy is playing like like Joan Armatrading and Trio and all these like just kind of a sort of obscure stuff, but like also not obscure stuff, just good stuff. And then I went, I think down to 67, wherever the lights rest area is over there, and I just left. I left Marfa, and then I later hooked up with the 10 again. And I went and I drove all the way to, God, I can't think of it, but it was, Ozona, Texas. And I was staying in this little area. It was kind of like a rest area, but it was kind of in town though. And then I saw there's some dude kind of looking at me weird, so I left. And I went to Sonora, Texas, and I sonored a little bit at a rest stop. When I woke up, I drove for a few hours to San Antonio, which I've never been to San Antonio. I thought I was going to like San Antonio more, and again, maybe it's like I didn't see the cool places, but I found it hard. It wasn't that easy to find like parking, you know. It is a weekend, and I think there's a ball game going on, and you know the river walk is pretty popular, so it was a little bit more popular than I thought. So there's more people out. So I thought it was going to be a little more of a relaxing city than it was, and it's actually a pretty big city. So FYI, if you're thinking it's just a little, San Antonio is a big city. It's a very sprawly too. So then I was like, okay, I want to go to Austin. So I started going, and then I decided to stop off in New Braunfels. And I asked some guy at the gas station if New Braunfels had some cool spots, and he said check out the downtown. So I started driving down the downtown, and then I figured out that instead of going back on the freeway, I could just take all these back roads. So I started taking these back roads, and I hit I finally hit Wimberley, which is like really beautiful actually. It kind of reminds me of Sonoma County, where I'm from actually. It's gorgeous. Just gorgeous rolling hills for miles. And I was like, okay, now I'm starting to see all the appeal here. This is gorgeous. So I drove past all that. I drove past Kyle, Texas, and then I drove into Austin probably about 2 hours ago. And the traffic was just crazy. It was like LA crazy. So there wasn't anywhere to park, so I stopped at this place and got some food, and I'm going to probably go north a bit to Rolling Rock or somewhere that's a little bit more suburban. And then maybe tomorrow I'll figure out a motel situation or something, get my smelly self a shower. Anyway, that's my LA to Austin, and actually in 6 days. It's been almost 6 days because it's Saturday night and I left Sunday really late night, so not quite 6 days yet. Anyway.